at some point in real estate, did we get roadblocks? Did we go like, oh, what did I do? Or, oh, I shouldn't have done this, or how are we going to get out of this one? You know, like just different roadblocks that we have or decisions to make. And then when you go back to your why, you're just going to be like, well, quitting is not the answer.
All right, guys, my name is Julian Castle, and today we have some very special guests. They're a couple, they're an investor duo, and they're going to talk about multifamily investing and real estate investing. And welcome, Mel and Dave. How you doing?
Hey, Julian.
Great to see you. Great to meet you. We're great. Summer's over.
Awesome.
Here,
Yeah.
so,
Thanks for having us on.
yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. So, well, it's now the kids are back in school, so tell us about what you're working on right now.
Yes. So, got some exciting stuff. We're still always working on some Costa Rica deals, more and more in the US. Ohio, we should be closing a deal in 2-3 weeks in Ohio. Just created the new LLC, get the new EIN, all that stuff. Continue investing in Canada, moving more towards Alberta, which is basically like the Texas of Canada. But yeah, so still chugging along.
That sounds exciting, am I right? So tell us about this
Yeah.
deal that you're working on.
So the one in Ohio is actually a single family home. It was kind of a done for you type thing. So it was nice and easy with the bandwidth that we got going on right now. And now the kids are back to school. The Costa Rica one, we're kind of negotiating a couple. We're liquidating one of our assets because it's hard to get debt in Costa Rica, but looking at some other kind of bird flip projects. Just a different play there, right? My short-term rental might liquidate it. So just kind of, but again, always creative financing other people's money and the way we like to know JV partners.
Yeah, we're really going after those markets, right, where it's a little bit more landlord friendly, where you can cash flow a little bit more, where we can be even more passive, of course, as investors, which is it's a great place to get to eventually, as you grow your portfolio.
That's amazing. So I have a question. What role do you guys take in the business? I mean, seeing a couple go into business together, that's exciting. A lot of people dream that. So, what does it look like for Mel in the business, or working on the business?
Yes, well, I keep this guy in line. Let's figure it out. We definitely divide and conquer. Dave is he thinks big and have these amazing ideas, and then he says, all right, Mel, figure it out. How are we going to do this? So I'm more of the implementer, and okay, let's figure out a system on how to make it happen. I take care of a lot of the social media side of the business and the team. Public relations. Dave is more with the lawyers and the accountants. Have been more, at first we were doing both on with the deals, but now we've kind of divided and conquer a little bit more on that as well.
Like, for example, Julian, we'll divide and conquer, but then we do things together. So before we jumped on the podcast with you, we were literally meeting with the CFO, our financial controller, and then the outsourced accounting firm that we have, just to kind of make sure compliance and all that. So meeting with them, Mel and I are both there for the finance meeting, right? Where are our numbers? What are we doing? What does August look like? What are we doing with the assets? But then, for example, this afternoon, we're meeting with some of those same people and then the international accountants. And I geek out on that, right? Like, I love that stuff, knowing, hey, how are we going to, we'll divide and conquer and do different things. Just depends on the day and what we've got going on.
That's amazing. Okay, it sounds really cool. So you got the visionary over here, and then you got like the implementer, right? Yeah, that's actually a perfect duo. So that's amazing. So tell us a little bit about where you guys are going. What kind of vision have you two put together that we can all learn, learn or know about?
Yeah, I mean, when we first started in real estate, of course, our goals, because we used to work full time, 3 kids, it was really about creating that extra time for ourselves. And by leveraging other people's money to grow our portfolio, we were able, of course, to grow a lot quicker and both able to quit our full-time job which of course gave us naturally a lot more time. So now that we've achieved that, now it's really about diversifying our portfolio. Dave and I, we love traveling. If you follow us on social media, you'll often see us traveling all over. So we love traveling. So being able, sometimes we'll go see our properties or go stay at some of our properties as well. So continuing to really do that, investing where returns are best. While also maintaining that, the most amount of time freedom that we can hang on to as well by really letting go of some of the tasks, right? Like, of course, property management, we haven't done for a long time, but, just different things where we can build a big, strong team around us, which we have. There'd be no Investor Mel and Dave without our amazing team. So that would really focus on doing what we love, which is the acquisitions, of course, and overseeing the projects with our amazing team, making it all happen behind us, behind the scenes.
That's amazing. It sounds like you guys are creating a really good movement here, where you guys are, who is the typical person who is attracted to you guys in terms of investing and follows you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're pretty basic people. We're regular, we're a regular couple who just really had a passion to spend more time with our kids and our families and each other, and also and we knew that the way to get there was real estate. So honestly, it's anybody who has that same kind of drive, that understands, even if they don't understand quite yet, but they know there's value in real estate investing, and they just are looking to get started on their journey and want to get there. And even if they don't have a lot of money, that's the neat thing about what we teach, is that we show people how to buy properties, none of their own money and without joint venture partners. So if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in your bank account, it doesn't mean you can't do this. You need to do it properly and wisely and strategically, but you can still get there. When the year we bought 12 properties in 12 months, that was 56 units, and it was solely owned. Like, we also didn't have tons of money sitting in our bank account, but we used financing strategically to get through those results.
That's awesome. So Dave was telling me that you guys were getting into multifamily. How is that going in what areas are you looking to invest in? What kind of properties? Can you tell us?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Julian, so in multifamily's kind of always been our bread and butter. Initially, it was, duplexes and triplexes, which there's nothing wrong with those types of buildings. Because I hear a lot of investors go, you have to do 5 units and over, you got to do 20 plexes. Like, our biggest building is a 50 plex at the time of this podcast.
Wow.
But so and there's nothing wrong with, and that's the thing, like,
but the duplex and the triplex and the fourplex is what helped us.
That's what we put our
jobs on as well. So there's also, and that's why we're like, okay, it's okay to go after the smaller ones if they make numerical sense. So yeah, multifamily, the smaller ones was how we got started, probably because of fear. We weren't sure what we were doing at first. We wanted to make sure we're doing it properly. Our comfort grew. It's continuing to grow in size, but one year we bought the 50 plex and we also bought the 4plex the same year. Why such different sizes? Because they both made strategic sense. And now we continue to have the same mentality. Yes, we're going to look at some bigger units, often in markets like Texas or Florida or Arizona and those areas. But I'll look at a condo the same way that I'll look at a 21 plex as well.
That's awesome. So when it's amazing, the story, you guys started small and then you guys obviously have built up a bigger portfolio. What are like the big pillars to your education to people? You have like the different areas you would definitely nail down and make sure you cover when people come to your mentorship, for example?
Yeah. So the biggest reason people come to us is the creative financing, right? And so creative financing, the things that we love utilizing, seller financing is probably our favorite, our go-to. Using registered funds as in the form of mortgages, right? And then promissory notes. The other big thing that people come to us is the no joint venture partners. And this is something that when Mel and I started, everyone kept saying, if you're going to scale a portfolio, you have to have partner. And we're not here to say there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with JVs. There's nothing wrong with partners. We've looked at creating a fund before with partners. It just didn't, we didn't go down that avenue. So there's nothing wrong with partnerships. It was just because we had 3 kids and that we just wanted to really be able to control our portfolio. And hey, if we want to liquidate something for kids who are going to college, or we want to give them a building, like we want to be the ones having that say, right? So I think that's our biggest difference is we use other people's money, yes, but we don't give any ownership or control in the assets or the LLCs in the States or the corporations in Canada. So it's people typically that come to us looking to, hey, use other people's money, use creative financing, keep 100% of the ownership and equity. But yeah, still use other people's money and pay them a healthy interest rate.
Yeah, exactly. And I think honestly, as far as some of the pillars that we're looking at is finding deals. As you can tell, I'm not afraid to analyze a lot of deals, because the more deals I look at, the more chance that I have to finding the perfect one. So finding a lot of deals, analyzing lots of deals. Of course, coupled with the creative financing piece, so I don't have to use my own money. So now I become limitless. I can buy as many properties as I want, as long as they make sense. The exit strategy, where I usually have a big sign behind me on my desk that says exit, a big exit sign. And that, that was a game changer as well, because when we first started and Dave was like, hey, let's use other people's money. I'm like, well, how are we going to pay them back? Right. So we have built an exit strategy to make sure that we know before we get into the deal how we're going to be paying it back, and it has to be numerical and logical. So that's definitely a huge part of what we do for every single one of our deals, and our students as well, is showing people how you're going to pay them back, and that naturally helps you raise more capital, because once people understand that, wait a second, I'm going to make money out of this. You have a strong deal. I can see numerically how you're going to be paying it back. It just becomes that win-win.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have a question in regards to how you both got into real estate. So, what were you guys doing before? And how did you guys know to pick each other so that in the future this could evolve and happen?
Well, he tricked me. No, no. So when Dave and I met, we both had a passion for real estate. So it just kind of happened. I had 2 properties already. Dave had the one. Dave, he had this amazing, passion. He knew he was going to be a millionaire someday, but he was scared of tenants and renting out places, right? So it was like, okay, how are we going to do this together? And I was the same. I was dedicated, wanted to do it, but wasn't sure how. So we slowly got into it together, just buying one property the old traditional way. And that was kind of the beginning on how to do this. And then we read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And of course, it was that game changer moment when we realized that we're doing it all wrong. So Dave was a full-time firefighter, but he was also a janitor and teacher's aide part-time. I was working full-time at our local college, teaching part-time classes as well, and fitness classes. So we were both working all the time, but just weren't getting ahead. And then as soon as we realized that we need to stop working so much and put the money to work for us, it was a changer, not only in our real estate portfolio, but in our lifestyle as well.
Well, rule number 1, right? Rich dad, poor dad. The rich don't work for money. And as soon as we realized that, and you know that, Julian, and your listeners, everyone has read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But as soon as we realized that, we were like, okay, let's stop trading our time for money. Let's get assets trading their time for money, because that's scalable. And 2017 is when we truly started using creative financing. So it was a complete game changer.
Yeah. So let's that's a great story, by the way. I mean, you guys got together, you guys were both interested in real estate. I think that's the magic thing. And then obviously you guys developed and grew this interest that became kind of like your passion. And so that's amazing. When it comes to creative financing, maybe there's someone in the room that doesn't know what creative financing is. Could you give a little bit more of a breakdown about what creative finance looks like, and how it can go about making a deal happen?
Yeah, and to keep it very basic. When you buy properties, you need 20 to 25% down, at least. Sometimes it could even be more, depending on the deal and your credit score and all that. But with creative financing or OPM, other people's money, yes, you have to come up with that 20 or 25% down. You can't change that, those are the regulations, but it doesn't have to be your own money. So by using creative financing or other people's money, you're just able to get to those results of buying 1 or 2 or 4 or 10 properties a year way faster, because most of us, when we get started, we don't have $500,000 sitting in our bank account, right? So it's just a quicker way to get there. Get into those properties as well. And the way we personally do it, as Dave just quickly mentioned, owner financing, where the owner will essentially turn like a bank and lend you money for the building. And they do that because it benefits them. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to do it from a tax perspective and all that. Or somebody who has a line of credit they might want to put to use, but they don't want to be doing what I'm doing and what you might want to be doing as an investor and finding the deal and having the ownership of it. They just want to be passively lending you the money, or secured funds as well, like 401k or RSPs.
Got it. Okay. So people will either owner finance it to you, they will have a line of credit and lend you the money, and then you'll pay them a nice return. Or then secured funds is people with a 401k, self-directed IRA. So great.
Exactly.
So people are going to wonder, okay, great. Well, that's creative financing. Where do I find someone that will give me a line of credit? Or where do I find someone that has a self-directed IRA that I can pull some money from and buy property and also give them a return? What do you tell these people?
Yeah, and I completely get it, because I used to think the same thing. I used to think like, oh, I don't know any, I don't know any rich people. How am I going to find these people? And honestly, it's just bringing it down that it could literally be anyone. It could be your neighbor's uncle that's visiting. You could be. I have some of my students that were walking the dog and they networked and found money that way. It could be your dentist assistant. When it comes to owner financing, like literally have this mindset when you're driving around, you're looking at buildings, even if you don't want to invest in your city, but just get into that mindset that it can literally be every single building that you see. They have potential of holding financing for you. Not everybody's going to want to, and you will definitely get some no's. I get a lot of no's. I still get some no's, but we get a lot of yeses as well. But I think it's opening that up that, there are people out there, as long as you find a good deal. Not every deal makes sense. Not every deal you're going to be able to pay them back. So obviously you cannot go with those ones. But if you make an attractive offer, if you show them the exit strategy, that's why people want to do it for you. I mean, even ourselves, we not only buy properties, but we hold financing on 4 of our properties. I've never met these people. Why would I still want to do it? Because it benefits me as an investor from a capital gains and all that perspective.
Amazing. So first part of any real estate activity is find a lead. Is that right?
Yeah, find a deal.
Find a deal, right? What do you teach your students, or how do you find your deals?
Yeah, so we'll show them and one thing, actually, I'm glad you asked that, Julian, was people will tell me all the time, and even our students, when they first start out with us, they'll say, there's no deals on the MLS, right? Realtor.com, LoopNet, Zillow, there's nothing there. And I'll say, hey, I agree with you. There could be nothing there, but there's also we still find deals all the time on Zillow, LoopNet, Realtor.com, or in Canada, Realtor.ca. Honestly, it's just kind of how you're searching for them and what you're doing. And there's deals all over the place. So we'll still utilize those platforms. I like using investor-focused agents that'll bring us pocket deals or off-market deals, or office listings or exclusives. But there's tons of deals everywhere.
Yeah, off-market deals. Like the year about 12 properties, 12 months. Probably half of them were listed, and half of them were off-market. So I definitely encourage people to look at both, because yes, there are still deals. We're still finding them. Our students are still finding them. There's still deals to be found. But don't limit yourself only to one platform. Definitely find off-market deals. Definitely use your social media. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you work with investor-focused agents, not just any agent, right? So it's cumulative with having a really strong team to help you and utilizing all different avenues as well.
I hope all the audience members are getting this, because a lot of people have this mental block. I can't find deals, there's got to be a special way for me to find deals, and it's really not, right? You really look and you'll find a deal. Maybe not at your first try, but you will definitely find a deal eventually.
You know what, Julian, I love that you said that. You may not right away. And you know what? There's some months that Dave and I, guess what? We haven't purchased properties. And then there's some months that we bought like 119 units in 3 months. That we were really busy and just everything came to fruition, and that's okay as well. And I think it's okay to give yourself permission to also go through those moments as well, that okay, you're not finding deals. Okay, well, you didn't find deals this week. Well, maybe next time, how many more calls are you going to make? Did you make a post? Did you even say something on social media that you're an investor, and to reach out to me if you have a deal? And how many people did you reach out to? And there's always, how much effort are you truly?
Consistency is key.
Yeah, consistency.
I like that Mel said that. So we've had some where we've a couple of months go by and we're like, yeah, nothing makes sense in our cash flow analysis matrix. We're not pulling the trigger on anything, but
we're not quitting either.
We're not quitting either. Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I hope all the honest managers are getting this. So when it comes to, you find a property, what kind of what does a property have to have in order for it to make sense for you?
So, and I love that you asked that. And honestly, Julian, like, this is something, it's going to vary person by person. I'm not trying to give you and your audience a vague answer, but like some people think it's just cash flow. Like, all I'm looking for is cash flow. And in the beginning, when Mel and I, that's all we cared about too, was cash flow, when we wanted to leave our 9-to-5s, right? Now, that being said, there's a lot of other factors, like, for example, and you know this, there's landlord-friendly states and there's tenant-friendly states, right? And same in Canada, there's landlord-friendly provinces and tenant-friendly provinces. So if you're someone that is very important to you, then only invest. And we're investing in Texas, Florida, and Ohio, right? We're looking more in Arizona as well. We're looking in those states that are more landlord-friendly. Same in Canada, we're looking in Alberta. I'm buying there because it's more landlord-friendly. And then time versus effort, right? Like, you can make a ton of cash flow, but if it's going to consume you and be a nightmare, and how much opportunity loss do you have too? So it's a lot of different factors when we're looking at deals.
Agreed.
Yeah. So when it comes to finding a deal and seeing if it will make sense for you, you always look at the time that you're going to be investing in it and whether that time investment is going to return something that you feel comfortable with, right?
Well, I'll give you a quick example, like, again, and it's going to probably vary in your journey. When we first, I remember this one building that we purchased that had a lot of per door, like kind of like a student rental type of thing. It was high maintenance. We had lots of buildings, definitely the highest maintenance one that we had. The most phone calls. I was taking a lot of our time, but we were okay with that at the beginning because we needed the cash flow. After a while, as we grew our portfolio and had more cash flow, now it's like, okay, now I need more time, and I'm okay with a little bit less cash flow. So we made changes within that building, although my revenue was slightly less, but I created myself a lot more time by making those changes. So again, it's really looking at what's right for you right now. In that moment, if you're an individual that does not feel comfortable going too far outside of your area, well, going to Costa Rica, like Dave and I are doing, is just not going to work for you because maybe you're just not ready for that. And I get it. We weren't ready as well at first. What's going to make you take action at the end of the day? That's why that's probably why you're listening to this show, is you have a portfolio already, or you're looking to get started. Okay, what's going to get you to that next level? And if that means investing within 2-3 hours, from where you live, then do that to start. And maybe down the road, you may or may not feel comfortable going elsewhere as well. So it's really identifying what works for you, what size building works for you. Because if you only go after the 20-plex, but the fear is too high, and you don't end up buying anything at all in 10 years from now, you're not any further ahead than if you would have bought 2-3 triplexes, for example.
That makes total sense. And I like that we mentioned that because, once you find a property and you're willing to put in the work and effort, what are some, what's next is like finding the way to add value, right? And so do you have your go-to value add strategies that people could just know so that they could have them, when they're looking at deals, see if that is something that the particular deal they're looking at fits or not?
Yeah, so and I love that you asked that. Value add properties, the typical burr, right? Everyone, Mel and I's funny because we'll just kind of say we've always been doing it. We just called it common sense before, right? Taking an asset that's here and bringing it to here and renovating it. So, but yeah, typically we're always looking for value add properties. Where have we done complete gut jobs? Yes. Have we done complete flips? Yes. But we're always looking for that low hanging fruit where literally we walk in, is it just some flooring, some paint, maybe a new countertop, maybe a vanity, we kind of, just give it a brush type thing and we're able to increase the rent by at least $100 or $150. So that's our kind of go-to is the value add, something that the bones are there. We can make it, market rent appealable ASAP. And then again, at least improve it by hopefully $100 to $150, depending on the market, obviously. But that's kind of our cut and dry, quick and dirty way of looking at it.
And it depends of the time as well. Our latest purchase, for example, is more of a turnkey type of property. So that one is a longer play because we were having a brief conversation before we went live, and I was saying how I've been busy with the kids all summer and wasn't focusing too much on acquisitions, but this one was a perfect fit because it's low maintenance type of thing. So it's also again based on identifying, but yes, typically, especially as a new investor, if you're getting into multifamily, you want to find properties where you can have control over the deal, not just count on appreciation, but really force the appreciation as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like that you have different strategies depending on how much work you want to put in and what the strategy is. So when it comes to building a portfolio, what are some of the key people you need in a team, maybe that you have already built that other people can look to develop in the future?
Great question, and that's going to be a game changer as it for everybody over time. But it's probably going to be over time. Like when Dave and I started, we were doing everything. We were doing the dump runs. We were doing the cleaning. We were very hands-on as much as we weren't very handy.
Installing toilets with YouTube right beside us.
Yeah. How did I install toilets? We could, we weren't very handy, but we tried doing as much as we could because we really didn't have a lot of money. But then all of a sudden, once we had enough cash flow, then it was like, hey, what do I not want to do anymore? Okay, I don't want to do the cleaning anymore. Okay, so I remember the first time I spent like $80 on a cleaner. I thought, oh, that's a lot of money. But again, during that time, if I can find another property instead, that can make me X amount, I'm way further ahead. So it's just slowly building your team. So for us, it was, starting off with the cleaner and then somebody who could do the dump runs and then property management outsourced or internal team, but at least it wasn't us. So that was kind of the first one. And then of course, having a bookkeeping team. And as you grow now, we're into financial controllers and CFOs and all those different pieces as well, marketing, and all that. But it was really just from the beginning was having more hands-on people that could free up our time so we can focus on the growth side of things.
And to kind of like for the typical real estate investor, I would say investor focused, lawyer, attorney, right, accountant, CPA, mortgage broker, hard money lender, insurance, and investor focused agent. Now, why I keep saying investor focused is, and I have these conversations weekly with different lawyers, different attorneys, and sometimes I'll hear it. So I just want to tell your audience, if you hear this, I'm not saying necessarily to run or that they're wrong. It's just they might not be the fit for you, especially if you want to use other people's money or creative financing. I'll still talk to lawyers and attorneys in Canada, US, other places, and I'll talk to them about creative finance, and they'll tell me, oh, that's illegal here, or you can't do that. And it's like, well, no, it's not. Just because you don't understand how to, and not being mean, but just because you don't understand how to do it doesn't mean you can't do it, right? Or I'll have CPAs go, seller financing or to, using registered funds, you can't do that. Even mortgage brokers, oh no, you can't put a second mortgage behind, obviously depending on the lender, but oh no, you can't do second mortgages. Or even real estate agents, I'll hear a lot of times, that doesn't work here. Nope, you can't do that type of stuff here. And it's like, it works everywhere, right? The IRS doesn't have code saying, you can only do this, right? So that's what I tell people is, as you're going along and you're building a team, okay, if you have a mortgage broker that you've been using or an agent that you've been using, I'm not saying that they're wrong, you need to get rid of them, But if you are going to use creative financing and other people's money, if you start hearing it doesn't work here, or you can't do that, just know we still hear it. I still hear it all the time. I just kind of ignore it now. It can work where you are, and it does work, and other people are doing it in your area. So don't take that no for an answer. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta find those people who are, investor focused. It's definitely key. I'm glad you mentioned that, because of course.
We still get no, like, well, like,
Yeah.
anyway, we had some registered funds and we were saying, hey, we're transferring it over to do self-directed, and like, oh, you can't do that. And it's like, all right, do I waste 20 minutes and argue, or you're right.
So,
Yeah.
totally understand that. That's a really big, it may seem very valuable, to a lot of people, because they're used to doing things the old way. And, which comes to my next, question is, a lot of the people that you surround yourself with help you achieve your dreams and goals. Is that right? So how have you, in your journey, surrounded yourself with other people like yourself to accomplish the dreams that you have accomplished now?
I love that question.
I love it too. And Julian, I've been saying that more and more, obviously coaches and mentors, I can't stress that enough. And not to sound cliche, but like Mel and we currently have 4 coaches and mentors right now. We just took on a 4th one, I believe 3 weeks to a month ago. I wish we spent more money sooner, right? Because again, no one knows it all. So a couple of things I want to say. We're actually, in 2 weeks from now, we're going to be in Tampa Bay at a mastermind that we're part of as well. We keep networking and meeting people. But one of our coaches told us once, and I absolutely loved it, is, right, no one knows everything. And again, if you're going to, coaching and mentoring is huge. If you're going to pick a coach or mentor, you should be picking someone that also has coaches and mentors, right? Not someone that says, hey, I know everything, I've been everywhere, done everything. Someone that has people in their corner and that they're still learning and still have resources, right? So that's something, honestly, I couldn't preach it enough, is coaching and mentoring. It completely changed our lives.
Yeah, totally agree with that. So not only picking a coach or a mentor, but picking someone that also has coaches and mentors too, so that they're in that same kind of mentality as you guys. They're also a student, right?
Well, it's just, exactly, and having people that are where you want to be, right? I mean, we all get into stages in life, and they're like, I want my next level here, is my next level here. And as you grow, it's finding that person that you feel have the experience, proven results, and that you can learn from. And I mean, again, we love having multiple coaches because we have different people in different areas of expertise. And if for some reason one of our students asks us something we're not sure, we can, reach out to others as well, and helps us grow and helps them grow as well. And I will always have a coach. I'm a life, I love growth, but I'm also a lifelong learner, because I know that I'll never know it all, and I love learning, and I love not making expensive mistakes, because we've made so many of those in the past. And if I can avoid them with the help of a coach, then that's definitely worth a return on investment.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds worth it. And when it comes to the trajectory that a mentor or coach aligns you with, what are some things that you've seen a coach and a mentor do in your journey that obviously took you down a path where you were better, faster, stronger? Do you have any personal story?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say a few things. I think it definitely, number one, is on us. I've had some great coaches. If I didn't watch any of their videos and I didn't show up, it doesn't mean that it was them. It was on us. I maybe didn't have the time or the dedication to do so. But if I reflect on some things, it was based on results, and based on past experience as well. So they had a proven system. They some of our coaches have trained some of the best in the industry, and they have that proven result. So I trust their opinion, because it's not something that's new to them. It's not just something that they used to do 20 years ago and not doing anymore, right? So somebody who's actively doing it, that has the proven results, as well, because it's one thing to know how to, let's say, grow a portfolio, but it's another thing to know that you can properly teach other people on how to do that as well. So it's a combination of, you know, our self-dedication as a student perspective or the mentee perspective, but also given that proven experience that somebody has as well.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to some of your students who have a similar journey like yourselves, what is that magical number which you also had, which is like, I want to have financial freedom, you know, we want to quit our jobs and kind of work on real estate. Do you know like what that magical number is for most people?
Honestly, like
It varies.
it varies. Like I'm thinking of some of my students have over, we have a large Action Family program, for those who are wondering. But yeah, like some of my students, their goal was to retire their parents.
First.
First, that was their first goal,
First.
and they were able to do that, I think, after
That's
14
cool.
units, and that was
Right,
that
14 units,
was
retired
their
mom.
goal, and she retired her mom. So boom, amazing. Some people have over 100 units. That was their goal, and they're still buying and very active. Some people was to move their parents.
Well,
I'm
Jason,
thinking, oh, okay, yes, Jason. I was
it was to
thinking about
buy
that.
his mom vacation, because we invest in Dominican Republic as well. So he actually purchased a unit for her as well there, so that when she retires, she can move out to DR, right?
Yeah,
What
so
were you thinking about?
I was thinking about Canal and Cron.
Okay,
It
yeah.
was,
Oh yeah, they
the
actually
two
immigrated their
brothers.
parents
Yeah, they
from
immigrated.
India.
Yeah, their parents.
Sorry, I stole your.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of times I find it's not just retiring themselves. I find a lot of students often have different goals with people that they love. As far to answer your question, honestly, it does vary so much, because one student might make 40,000 a year and somebody else makes 150,000 a year and has a lot of debt, or, you know, so there's a lot of variables. So honestly, when it comes to that, you're going to have to, you know, personally analyze your situation on how much money you need before quitting your job, and then have a lot of extra money in the backup, right? So when Dave and I were about 12 and 12, I quit my full-time job afterwards. But we were in a situation where we had a lot of cash flow coming in. I had a lot of appreciation equity in my building. So I felt secured leaving my job when I did. So you also don't want to leave quickly where you're going to have a hard time refinancing. So it has to be a very logical decision. And that it's going to be based on numbers, of course. But if you're dealing with the right people and the right financial team members, again, that are investor focused, they'll be able to help you through that too.
That's cool. So how important is for the person to have a goal and whether they become successful at accomplishing this goal or not?
I do like that, and I'm just thinking of Simon, who he's been very vocal about his goals, and recently I think he did like 40 units in the last 9 months or
Yeah,
something.
42 units. in 6 months, I
And
think.
yeah, so Simon, he's out west. He's been absolutely crushing it, and he's been very vocal about his goal, his mindset. So I think it's very important to have a goal, because otherwise you're just kind of going blind, right? So, and two things, if you what isn't tracked isn't measured. So basically, he was tracking his goal of getting to a certain amount. We're actually reading that book right now. Keith Cunningham. Anyway, so what isn't tracked isn't measured, or wasn't measured isn't tracked, maybe vice versa. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that's very important to have a goal. And then also when you do have a goal and you are measuring yourself up against it, it does put that in-house inherent pressure of, okay, I said I was going to do this, and this was my goal to change my life. What am I doing today? Am I going down the YouTube rabbit hole, or am I actually going to take some action and do something? So I think it's twofold. It gives you vision, and then also kind of it's that kick in the you know what to get it done too.
Have a roadblock, right? Because at some point in real estate, did we get roadblocks? Did we go like, oh, what did I do? Or, oh, I shouldn't have done this, or how are we going to get out of this one? Or, you know, just different roadblocks that we have, or decisions to make. And then when you go back to your why, you're just going to be like, well, quitting is not the answer because I want this. So let's find a solution. Let's be solution driven. So for us, having our why, which was spending more time with the kids and seeing my little guy get on and off the school bus, that was so important to me. For example, you know, I do that every day. I'm just, you know, those very specific goals, not just travel, like, you know, really get granular on them. That's what kept me focused on the days that I thought, oh, what am I going to do? Or should I do this? It's like, okay, well, yes, you're going to find a solution because I want to see my little guy get on and off the school bus every day, right? So I think identifying it goes such a long way.
Yeah, I totally feel that goal makes you more driven than an arbitrary, insignificant goal like, I don't know, I want to have some more money in the bank, right? It's like money is just a tool, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
so all right. So, I think we can touch on a little bit about your students. You mentioned Simon. Do you have any other students which have a significant goal that made them actually succeed with your help?
And to be honest, we have a lot of students. At this time, we've got about over 1,800 students as part of the Action family. A lot of them post all the time, right? Their achievements, their goals, what they're looking at.
I've been featuring one of our students,
Mentee Monday,
at Mentee Monday on that I do on Instagram every week, where I feature one of my students, whether it's their first OPM property or whether it's their 12th in 12 months property. So they're beating us, which is awesome. That's when you did a good job as a coach. So it's really all of that. So we're big on celebrating successes, and honestly, that's what I would say, is that everybody has different goals. Everybody's in different stages. Some are just 3 months in our program, some of them with us for a longer time. And of course, as the more you're in real estate, the more your portfolio is going to grow. But one thing that we do have is that we have that consistency for our students. And if you're thinking, oh, Mel, will this work for me? I'm not sure. Like, I've never done this before. It's like, well, if all these people can do it, some people, immigrated to the States or Canada for the first time. Some people barely had any money when they joined. Some people couldn't afford their own house when they joined our program. Some people had bad credit. Like, if all these people with different backgrounds, with different situations, married, single, divorced, can do it, and I consistently am able to feature a student every week, and I can't feature everyone, which is a really nice problem to have. It means that it's a proven system, right? So all you have to do is actually show up and take part of it, and take that action piece, and ask us questions, and help us get you through any roadblocks that you're having, because again, there's always solutions, and there's always ways to raise capital and find deals.
That's amazing. It sounds like you build a really beautiful community.
We love the Action. Thank you.
Yeah. Where, if you don't mind me asking, where'd you find the insight to build a community that has such a driven students, and like?
Yeah, I love that question, Julian. Like, in some people who've been following us, or if you're new to following us, or we had a bad car crash in 2018. So we used to have huge scarcity mindset. We didn't share anything with anyone. Like, our parents were not on social media, like crazy scarcity mindset. So we had the car crash on our way to a real estate convention, and we just started thinking, even our kids don't even know how we're doing this, right? Like, we were taking this knowledge to the grave, basically, which almost happened that day. And it just completely changed the mindset. So we started thinking, you know what, there's so much money out there. There's so much real estate out there. We actually wrote a book that week. Oh, I goosebumps talking about it. We wrote a book that weekend. We still went to that. We wrote a book, became an Amazon bestseller. And then we're like, you know what, we got to go to the next level. We created the Action family. And that's kind of where it all stemmed from. And we, like, again, we're big on mindset. Mel and I both have Tony Robbins coaches, and there's lots of buckets in life, right? So there's obviously money and assets and health, all that stuff, but giving back and seeing other people achieve their goals, like Mel had mentioned earlier, right? People immigrated their parents, or people have retired their parents. Some people have retired, like, that's a bucket that coaching and mentoring and having the Action family filled, which buying buildings could not, right? So it's been a really cool, so that was our driving force behind it. That unfortunate accident, that was really the driving force behind everything.
And I think, honestly, it's just attracting these amazing people who are driven, who are dedicated to their goals, people who are giving, and that's been the foundation of the program from day one. And it just keeps having this domino effect, because people are hearing about it, people are joining, there's posts every day, people cheer each other's on, people check up on each other's properties. Like, it's just a very amazing community. And it's not just Mel and Dave here that has built it. There's no community of just Mel and Dave. It's not the Mel and Dave community. It's the Action family. And it really is. Everybody takes part of it. Everybody helps each other. Some people post deals, people lend money to other people. Like, this domino effect, because I think everybody coming in understand the mindset that, you know, we talk about as well in the program, that if I win and you win, we're all winning even more together. And it's that domino effect that continues to
What is
happen.
it? A rising tide lifts all boats. So yeah.
That's amazing. I love that ethos. It's so, you know, it's really a win-win situation for everybody. I would say it's a movement for real.
Like, cool story. You asked for a cool story earlier. One of my students, two ladies from New Jersey, they were using promissory notes to grow their portfolio in New Jersey. Fast forward down the road, now they're doing development in Dominican Republic. And we actually ended up buying 2 penthouses from them. So who would have known from my community that I'm now buying students from my own students who are doing development in the DR. But that's a cool thing about the network. If you're active, you never know what kind of opportunities are going to happen. But yeah, pretty neat.
That's awesome. I want to touch on a little bit about the mindset. I think, you know, I've heard a lot of things from different successful entrepreneurs who say life and death events are really a big driving force for a change in their lives. And obviously this really impacted you guys because it was like the catalyst to begin this now huge community. So what mindset did you attain when that happened that has allowed you to be able to
Yeah, honestly, I think it was that fear when it happened. You know, when the car crash happened, it was a rollover crash. We landed upside down. It was really horrific. But we did survive. And I just, like, during the moment, I remember thinking about my kids and all that, and they weren't going to see me anymore. And then after that, once we were okay and alive, it's like, okay, like, you know, what else could we have done for them? And if we would have died, like, you know, that you go through all that as you're recovering. And part of it was, okay, we built this great portfolio and yeah, we have money, but we didn't teach them how to, there's no lesson, there's nothing left behind, like, except for full of money, but it's just money. It's not knowledge, not information. And I think that was kind of the force behind it, was creating something. And I think that because maybe because my kids were the foundation, with, of course, they're my world, of wanting to create something with a lot of information, that we didn't say, well, we're not going to tell them this part, or let's leave out the part about property management, or let's charge extra for the you know, for the business structure. So we created something where everything's in there, the creative fund, you know, so that way people can actually get the results. Because I wanted something that, you know, if Colton down the road says, Mom, I want to buy a property, and he can actually go in and see all our videos and have all the information, and everything is there for him, type of thing. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that was kind of, yeah, what motivated us to really get it going.
That's amazing. And Dave, for you, what was your thought process?
Thought process was, again, there was that realizing that there is so much money and so many deals out there. And again, for your listeners, I love that they're taking, you know, action and listening to this. I still remember hearing people tell me that before, like, there's so much money out there. Well, where is it? How come I can't find it? If you truly start doing this right, you'll eventually get to the point where if you're building out win-win scenarios where you'll have a lot of pool of investors, right? Where you might have to turn them down because you might have to wait for the next deal to come up, or you've got too many deals going on. So it was just, yeah. So if you're hearing me say that, you're like, yeah, Dave, I wish I had that problem. It does happen at some point. We've had our students say that too. I've got too many deals right now, or I've got too many investors so
I have too much money. I have to find deals. But again, they also believe that they know how to do it, right? So mindset, huge.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah. Thank you guys. I love that. So where can people find you, Investor Mel and Dave?
Yes. So we are all over social media. So we're on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and Threads and all over. So it's always the handle Investor Mel and Dave. So Investor Mel Dave on social media. If you want to find out a little bit more, have a visualization of some of the deals that we analyze with creative financing, just DM us on social media. I can send you some videos that you can watch as well. So I know I'm a very visual person when it comes to looking at deals and all that as well. But yeah, that's we post every day. So
awesome. So I really enjoyed having you guys on the podcast. This has been amazing. And the Action family, you know, does it have a website as well, or just the best place is to start it in your social media?
Yeah, I'd probably say reach out to us on social media, get to know us a little bit more. Again, I want to make sure that if this is something you're interested in. And yeah, we have a website, Investor Mel Dave, as well there too. And but yeah, if you reach out to us through social media, we do have the Action Family on Instagram as well. But either way, we'll get you connected. We'll give you some additional information and see if it's the right fit for you.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love people to go check out what Mel does every week, where she highlights the students. I think that'd be a great place to start and just kind of see what someone else's journey has been like. So thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate you, and hope to have you on in the future.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you, Julian.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much, Julian.
Awesome. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.